Hey folks, it's Troy here and wanted to show you two pens today. I actually wanted to make this video about a week ago, but I didn't get a chance to because I was traveling for business and like 1,000 miles away, and then some, and wasn't unable to do so. And then I come home and my wife heads out on a Caribbean cruise to the Bahamas with her mom to do a mother-daughter cruise, and here I was playing Mr. Mom here at home with my boys, so I hadn't been really quiet around here. Not to mention the fact that we've been dealing with head colds, chest colds, and that kind of thing for me and the boys. So this is my first quiet day to be able to sit down and do some recording. The boys are at school, and as a matter of fact, I need to go pick up one of them here in less than an hour, so I figured I'd at least get this recording done. So I wanted to show you two pens, and for those of you who've been following my channel, you know that I tend to like Waterman pens. I like new pens, I like old pens. So I like vintage pens, especially by Waterman, but also, you know, I like new pens. For instance, my pen for today is a Pilot Vanishing Point in Blue Carbonesque. So I don't ignore newer pens. I tend to love them both. But I have a great appreciation for the historical value of old pens like this one. For those of you who like Lamy Dialogue 3, you'll like this pen. For those of you who enjoy Noodler's pens, you know that Noodler's has a Boston Safety Pen. Well, they're not the only ones to have ever come out with a safety pen, nor is Waterman for that matter. So anyway, I've got in my hands a Waterman Safety Pen, and I have been wanting one for a while. And I just finally got one. The only thing about this particular pen that I wish was different was that it was the bigger version. But, you know, I've got the S version. So it's actually one of the shorter versions. But it's got, mechanically, it's in great condition. And visually, it's in great shape. It's got some nice imprints still on the barrel. And here someone has personalized it with some initials on the cap, and there is a nice imprint from Waterman on the cap. So it may look a little different in that the cap is shorter than you're used to seeing, and this is the black chased hard rubber. Let's take this off, and lo and behold, there is no nib, which is one of the reasons why it's a quote safety pin. So for safety reasons, you can actually have the nib inside. You twist and the nib rotates out just like that. So you've got a nice Waterman nib that you retract. That's why I say if you like the Lamy Dialogue 3, you probably like this particular pen. It's also an eyedropper pen, so if when you go to fill it, let's get a pipette right here. So suck up some ink with it, and you would put this right in here and fill it with ink. So the idea, though, is that you have a seal in the back here that prevents it from leaking out. In the old days, that was made with cork. This particular pen, the cork seal is totally gone on it. I've purchased some replacement seals. Now what I've decided I'm going to do, though, is I'm going to have it sent off for restoration. I could probably pull it apart and work on it myself and get it writing nice and happily so. But I actually saw a video, if you guys know Steph from Grand Mia Pens, he's actually worked on these particular pens before and did a gorgeous restoration job on a Waterman Safety Pen. I've already contacted him and pretty much made arrangements for me to be able to send him this pen for restoration, and I will be doing so here in a little bit. I just need to pay the man and ship it off to him. So this is something I've been looking forward to having. Now, with a safety pen, this unscrews here, and it does come apart. And, you know, like I said, I could probably work on it myself, but I know Steph does good work at a reasonable rate, so I am going to let him work on it. Now, this is about as far as I'm going to pull it apart. It's got a nice helix in there, and then you've got the nib and the feed. And you'll notice here there's like a little nipple, and that comes down to a little channel inside that pen, and I want to screw it back together. In doing so, you know, the nib comes out, so I will retract it. Now, one of the things about that cork that I found is when I tested this pen to see if the seals were indeed gone, and lo and behold, they were. I probably should have tested it with water, but I wanted to see how well it wrote. So I went ahead and sucked up a little bit of ink, put it in here, and it just gushed out like a sieve. out the back, so I had, ink flowing all over my hands and into the little tray. I said, all right, well, maybe I should have done it with water, but I was actually hoping it would hold enough so I could, put out the nib and see how well it wrote. But we'll see how well it does once it comes back, because like I said, I've seen Steph's restoration job on video that he did on another one. So there's a couple of air holes here in the cap. Now the concept is that you would want to store it like this so that ink would not flow out. Now these air holes, I would hope that if the pen actually sits down or lays down, that it wouldn't come gushing out, but I'll know when the time comes. Wanted to show you that pen a little bit here, though, in the book Waterman, Past and Present, the First 6 Decades. By the way, I have another copy of this book, and what I will probably be doing, my channel has been growing slowly here recently, not as fast as it once did. Now, part of the reason for that is the way, once YouTube totally redid their system, what they did was they cut off smaller channels like mine and a few others of people that I know and I've communicated with, so that we can't do anything with Google ads or anything like that. Now I didn't make much. I made a couple $100, which actually enabled me to upgrade my software to try to make my channel better, and I actually saw some really good growth for a while. And then once they made that change in their algorithm and the way they ran their business model changed, a lot of channels like mine stopped seeing a whole lot of growth, and so my channel has been growing a lot slower than it has been. But once I come over the 100 or the 1,000 subscriber hump, which is the first major milestone. I mean, we've had 250, we've had 500, 750, and we're up over 800, and we're closing in on that 1,000 subscriber mark. This book will probably be one of the giveaway items. I've also got a pen, I've got some ink planned, I've got some notebooks, and I'm going to put together a package, and hopefully this book may be one of them. So, wanted to share with you, though, this particular pen in the book. Eyedropper filled safety pens, to give you a little bit of idea. Circa 1905 to 1935 is when these were in production. Mine happens to be this one right here, the 12S. Obviously I don't have the gold band here, nor do I have the clip right there. So looking at it, let's see. I don't see where there was necessarily a clip that was on this particular pen. You can see some did not have a clip. But this particular pen does not seem to have had a clip, but I do see the air holes that are typical, and it does not have that center band. But this is the 12S model right here, and that is visible actually on right there on the finial of the pen. So I wanted to show you that. So that is my eyedropper filled safety pen. I'm going to show you the next pen, though, from the 1920s. Circa 1920s. This one right here, the 0552, in a smooth finish. Ought to look just like this pen right there. So this pen I purchased from a seller here in the same state I'm in. I'm in North Carolina, and this came out of the western part of the state, and it was sold to me as being completely restored. And from the 1920s, it's really hard to get a good metal finish that's going to be totally without scratches and blemishes, and I get that. But you can see here on the clip, you've got the Waterman logo, you've got the spoon-style Waterman Ideal logo for the lever, and you can see too that it has been personalized. So somebody had it engraved MJ Savage. So an MJ Savage used to own this particular fountain pen at one point in time. So it was a nice looking pen, I thought. The cap, nice rounded smooth finish there, and at the bottom of the finial, nothing incredibly special there, but the numbers are really worn off. The model number, the 0552, you can see that just faintly on there, and most of it's worn off. Even with a loop, it's really hard to read it. But I got this particular pen, and booyah! You can see I've been using it for a while, actually, since I've gotten it. I'll try to get you a better picture than that. But with a 0552, you figure it's actually got a number 2 Waterman nib. So let's go ahead and do a quick writing sample with this one. And it posts fairly nicely, and the thing is, it does repost firmly. You can use it without posting it. I kind of tend to like them posted because, number one, I don't like to lose track of them. But I do enjoy posting my pens. I know some people don't. But this is a 1920s Waterman 0552. So it's got the number 2 nib on it, and I did some flex there on purpose. A flex nib. So you can actually get a good amount of line variation. Look at that. Very nice. You can get some good flex, a nice broad line out of it, so you can go very fine. So you basically have a fine to a broad, and I don't know if I would call it a double broad or not. And when I got in here for ink, I believe I got a Waterman Mysterious Blue, which is kind of a blue-black ink, and it's more blue than black. It's a very dark navy style ink, and it depends on what pen you're writing with. In different pens it comes out more blue, in other pens like this it actually comes out a lot darker. So, but this is a very nice 1920s vintage. I mean, it writes fairly smoothly. It feels, when you write it, a little toothy and a little fine. But doggone, can you get a nice, flexible line. A nice, beautiful, reliable line, no matter what direction you write in. So this one here puts down a nice amount of ink. There you go. So anyway, that's my pen mail. 2 vintage Waterman pens, one of which has to be restored and one of which has been restored. So I'm actually looking forward to getting this one here sent off, and I'll probably package that up this week and try to get it out. So this one here is one of those you got to know 1, 2, and then a third click to be able to get this lined up, the clip lined up with the lever. And I just found that out by playing with it because I'm kind of OCD about those things. So a Waterman 0552, beautiful smooth overlay on a hard rubber pen, and a Waterman Safety Pen, one from the 1920s and the one from between 1905 and the 1930s. So anyway, hey, appreciate you watching, and I'll try to share more with you as time goes on. I haven't bought a whole lot of pens here recently, and because I've had a lot of other things I've been trying to concentrate on, but I'm always glad to share with you what I've got when they come in.